dad's not in my life. He hasn't been since I was like this big. So I never really had a connection with him, and if so, it was very finicky, very like, hey, how you doing? Love you, but very surface. One time he messaged me and said, hey, my wife and your stepsister say hi. And to most people, it might not seem like a lot, but it really hurt me because you're my biological father, and yet you have a connection with someone that isn't your actual daughter. So to me, it bothered me, but that's only, I don't really try to dwell on the negativity, you know, but that's one thing I can think off the top of my head. The times we have had, talked physically, it was a bit odd because it's just like, it's been so many years. I'm just some random person. I have my own, I'm an individual now, so I feel as though it's kind of weird for him to look at me and be like, okay, that's my daughter. So it's like, hey, let's meet your stepsister. He probably knows more about her than he does me, honestly. I used to have a lot of resentment towards my father because of it, but as of the recent years, I've learned to stop holding grudges and having the standard of, oh, you're my dad, you're supposed to do this and this and that. While it sucks that I missed out on that part of my childhood, it's made me who I am today. So I embrace that and I'm proud of that, you know. I don't think I'll ever truly be over it, but I can try, you know.
My dad almost died from his stroke that he had, which was caused by alcohol and drug abuse. And then once I took care of him for a summer, he ended up snorting pills again and shit. And I told him, like, when I found out that if he didn't go to rehab, I wasn't gonna talk to him anymore. And he proceeded to apologize to me and then say that I can't make him happy and nothing will. I still think about it too. He's actually been sober for like 5 years and he moved to Vegas, so I go and see him in Vegas every summer. And he's sober. I mean, he does like smoke weed and take edibles and stuff, but he is free of pills, free of alcohol, and all that kind of stuff. So we're actually on really good terms now, and he's way healthier out there than he was where I'm currently at. So
yeah, exactly. No, around senior year, right whenever I got kicked out of my parents' house, I told you that. Before that happened, it was because I was smoking weed. My parents thought that it was like more than weed. Like they thought like I was like a crack addict, heroin addict, like type of deal like that. So like they literally called me a drug addict, and they were like, get out of this house, like you can't be here. And like, you know, like deep down, obviously I knew like I was just like, it was just weed. And like me personally, bro, I would never touch any hard drug like that. Like I've been able to see what it does to people's lives, you know what I'm saying? It will destroy you, bro. Like I'm not trying to look 10 years older than I really am, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not stupid, you know what I mean? Like, you know, they're treating me like I'm stupid, so like, Exactly, yes, exactly, you know what I'm saying? I've seen that, so like I know I don't want to become that. And you know, I guess that just is kind of frustrating whenever you know the truth, but like your parents see you as literally like a fucking drug addict, you know what I'm saying? Like that shit hurts, bro. Like, yeah, you know, you wish that you could just change their mind, and like you wish that they really knew the truth, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, now it's all good, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, family is important, you know, you gotta make it right, so.
The doctor is telling me that my mom only has 1 year to live. This was back in 2016. Yeah, she had breast cancer. She got breast cancer. She went to the surgery, chemo and everything, and she got cleared, right? She was cancer-free. But the cancer came back in her spine. She was complaining that her back hurt, and it got kind of worse from there. Slowly, she wasn't able to walk. And she lost function of like her legs, like completely from the waist down. And then, yeah, that was being told she had 1 year left to live was like the most gut-wrenching feeling ever.
I guess if I had to pick one, the one thing that stuck with me was something my father said at a moment of frustration when I was younger. My father was good to me. I'm good with my dad. But one thing he said that's kind of just stuck with me, and he's very regretful about saying it, but in a moment of frustration, he told me, you are nothing but a burden on yourself, me, and anybody you ever have the displeasure of coming across. And like that's just stuck with me.
I'm sorry, damn.
But I emphasize, I love my dad, he loves me, we're good. That was a long time ago, and he was just frustrated and apologized profusely, but it still stuck with me.
Well, no, I can answer it. It's just I don't want to hurt anyone in the audience because it's a topic that most people have probably experienced. Well, actually, it's sad that most people probably have. My dad was not my dad. And if I had anything to say to people who are going through that right now, all I have to say to you people is your dad, the person, is the person who raised you, who was there with you from birth, who cared for you, picked you up when you were hurt, brought you to a baseball game, ballerina practice, I don't know, don't want to be misgendered here, you get my point. That's a dad. A father is the guy who donated the juice to make you. He's not the person who raised you.
I think it must have been in my last relationship where I was kind of coming out about like gender identity and all that. Like the person I was with was not really supportive of that at all. So like that really set me back a lot. Like about being open about shit like that. I'm more comfortable being non-binary. So like just being whatever I want without caring about the social aspect of it. Like if I like something, I'm gonna like it. Doesn't matter if it's a feminine or masculine thing, you know? Gender's all a performance.
I haven't really grasped, the meaning of life, but I think it's better to embrace it as opposed to trying to question and understand every single minute detail, which will only bring you more suffering because it will put into perspective how meaningless and degrading life can be. But it's all about how you see life as opposed to what it might actually be. And that's not saying turn a blind eye to it, but I mean the alternative is something that makes a lot of people depressed because it puts into perspective how meaningless and sometimes quite like questionable life is, no one knows why we are here, no one knows what we're doing here at all, but it's better to embrace what you can see rather than what you can't,
I don't know. I mean, like, are we trying to get emotional here? Like, I don't...
How emotional you want to get?
I mean, I've had like 3 people die of cancer this year, so...
Just this year alone?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Like, 2 uncles and an aunt. It was pretty nuts.
Damn.
Just this September, I lost my best friend, who was shot and killed as a cop. Yeah, it kind of came a shock to all of us, but with that kind of work, that can happen, so...
The most painful thing to be told? Yeah, well, one time, I was in a relationship and then got out of it, and after a while, my ex then, hit me up again, and she was like, okay, yeah, she was like, I miss you and shit, so... We got back together, and then after 2 nights or something, she told me that she slept with other people. So I think that was the most painful thing. And then I slept with their friends, so. I mean, you gotta give consequences to things.
I guess it would be something along the lines of your father doesn't love you, that's why he's not here. I mean, I was of age, it wasn't like I was young or nothing, and it was just kind of it's hard to explain how it came up, but it's basically that's how it was summed up. It wasn't necessarily worded that way, it was just more along the lines of hey, your father's not here because he's a douche.
I don't like to try to hang on to negative stuff.
Agreed.
Yeah, when people usually say stuff negative about me, I usually just don't care. I don't try to hang on to it. Someone tells me I can't do something, that gives me more motivation to do it.
Yeah, I think we're both the same in that. I think I was more of just grew up a shitter, as I would phrase it.
Yeah, I kind of just learned to stop caring about what people said, because that's that's what brings you down.
The funny thing is, for a majority of my life, I really didn't give a shit. As a kid, and my mom told me I didn't give a shit. But I remember after a bunch, to answer your question and to lead into what they're saying, with my ex that went on for a few months, that was really, really tough, that whole thing. And then after the breakup, everyone was really, even strangers gave me bad looks. I actually taught in art class, and a majority of my students left because of what people have said and posted about me, which none of it was true. And I remember being really distraught because my best friends, even my brother, were all against me. And I realized that no matter how much of an image, because I try to be really nice, no matter how much of an image you put up for yourself, it can all be shattered in a minute. So you could either spend all that time trying to build an image for people and, trying to get it so that people like you or they see you this way, or you could be yourself and not care about what the outcome is. Because if you put a lot of work into it and it all comes crumbling down, it's going to be devastating. But if you're just who you are and there's people that hate you and people that like you, then that's fine.
I don't think negatively. I don't think of as something that will be painful to me that day is painful for the rest of my life. The day is the next day. There's always a next day. There's always something, but because one day is painful doesn't mean the rest of your life has to be painful for that, So I don't really remember anything painful because it's only a memory. It's only something that just so happened to be bad in your life. I mean, I could tell you, like, back when I was in high school, that I got cheated on by my girlfriend that we've been together for almost a year and a half. I got cheated on with my best friend. And yeah, that was terrible news. But then I just moved on because I didn't dwell on it. I thought about looking forward. And like, to live by that, it took a lot of mental training to stop that, because depression is a thing. Depression is something that nobody can control, really. And if you have severe depression, it's extremely hard to think that way. I used to have depression, and like, I always used to look at it and just be like, oh, I'm never going to be good enough or anything like that. Now I'm out over here, like, improving myself even more day by day.
Or the first, actually, because she said she just didn't love me anymore, or like she didn't have enough love for me and herself. Let me compensate. I didn't really understand, but like, you know, is there a text too?
It was something along the lines of they weren't ready for a relationship when I was like getting ready to move in with them, like in January, but it's fine.
The most painful thing, I think, was when one person that I thought was my best friend told me in my face they were only friends with me because of the connections I had, and that was very painful.
I guess probably the most painful thing that I was ever told was by an ex of mine. Like, we had been together and then broken up and then gotten back together at another point, and they told me that I was like one of the most selfish people that they had ever met. And looking back on it now, I can kind of agree with what they were talking about, because like, I guess it was kind of like a self-realization moment for me back in the day. Was just like, back then when I went into the relationship the second time, I might have thought it was like, oh yeah, like this is the right thing to do, like I really love this person and all that different stuff. But when I look back on it now, kind of growing up and seeing who I've become as a person now, I can tell that the person who I was back then really just wanted to be loved themselves, and it wasn't really about like, oh, this is like the person that I want to be with forever. Like, this person made me feel that way. So they were right. You know, it was a selfish thing, even if I didn't completely realize it back then.
I like you as a friend or a brother. You know, see, here's the thing. After someone rejects me, I'm just like, okay, well, I'll lose feelings. You're lost, you know? Dude, I feel like the people who like ask someone out, they say no, and then just stop being friends with them at all. I feel like those people just like, I don't know the exact word I'm looking for, but it doesn't feel right to do that just because someone doesn't like you. I feel pathetic. I feel like it's a little bit pathetic.
Someone might have to hear this. You're doing amazing, and keep going. Although people might not notice what you're doing right now, it will pay off in the end. Take care of yourself, hydrate. Don't be mean to yourself. Love yourself. Appreciate who you are and embrace it. Try not to live with life with regrets. Yay. Go! Thank you for interviewing me. That was actually kind of fun. I've never had that happen to me before.
Final message. You can do anything you want. You put your mind to it. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter how unbelievable people may think your dream is. If you set your mind to it, you can definitely accomplish it. I believe in big dreams, and I feel like you can accomplish it as long as you put your heart into it.
You should always enjoy yourself and encourage other people to enjoy themselves too. Because if you're just enjoying yourself no matter what you're doing, you're just doing it right. And you're not worried about the future or the past. You're existing in the time that you're supposed to be and having the best time you can. And so the future doesn't matter, because you just get to enjoy what's going on, which is part of the reason that VR chat can be so fun, because you can always just do something else instantly.
Discover who you are as a person, what you value most and what you hold dear to your heart, and don't make any compromises on what you believe in, as long as it's just and right. And at the end of the day, as long as you hold that close and you have confidence in yourself, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks about you, because that's just their perspective and they don't know shit.
My grandfather just gave me some advice, and he said, think about what you're doing, and does it really matter? And does stressing about something, does that fix it? So if you can't do anything about it right now, why stress out about it? Just plan for when you can do something about it.
Being yourself is hard, but try your damnedest. Try and just accept that you are who you are, and if
the world doesn't like that. Some portion of it will. You just need to find what your niche is and find those people that are like-minded, and you will find friends.
If I need to choose one, I would say stick to your own morals. Never let someone tell you how to live your life. Just take life on as it comes. Don't try to change things you can't change.
The one thing that I would want to say is just be kind. Be kind to everybody, man. Like, cause you never know who needs it, and you know that you being kind to somebody could really change their day. You know what I'm saying? Change their week. Like you really never know. So just always be nice to people. There's not enough people that are actually nice. You know what I'm saying? Like, it needs to be more. So that's what I always wish that I could tell people. You know what I'm saying? If they're listening, just be nice, bro. Be nice.
Do you want a hug?
Do I want a hug? Yeah, sure, I'll take a hug.
Kindness is contagious. When you are kind, you inspire others. Be the spark. Spreading kindness merchandise available now.